Hello, everyone. Welcome to the final season finale episode of Reality Glitch this season. I hope you've enjoyed it so far. In this episode, we will be talking about all things dinosaurs. And it's going to be a long one. But first off, before we get into the actual topics themselves, let's get into the props. So, as you can see, I have a lot. I have Disney's Dinosaur. Here, the DVD, great movie, love it. Probably one of the best animated dinosaur movies I've ever seen. I have a dinosaur survival book here. You can't really see it very well because due to the other things in the way. Jurassic Park trilogy, The Evolution of Claire, Jurassic World book, hubcap from episode 1, I think. And then I have Indoraptor, I have Dracodon and Vertebrake, I have a little T-Rex skull down there that glows in the dark, I got Blue, I got Jurassic Park 3 vintage Spinosaurus toy that probably would still work if I had batteries in it. And we have Hot Wheel T-Rex here from the Hot Wheels Jurassic World Dominion collab. And there's that for that side. Then when we come over here, obviously in the middle, we have the wonderful prop mic here, the antique prop mic. Then we come over here, and we're going to start down here. We have the Giganotosaurus Jurassic World Dominion Hot Wheel car. We have one of the Snap Squad Spinosaurus, Allosaurus from Jurassic World 2015 toy line, the Jurassic World Rebirth movie, the Troodon that we saw from Live Night, and actually mostly Live Night. We got a whole little guys up there. So we got little Herrerasaurus, Triceratops, Sarcosuchus, Mosasaurus, Amargasaurus, and we have a Therizinosaurus from Jurassic World Dominion. We have Herrerasaurus here, Scorn in Spinosaurus mode on right over there. We have a Dracorex. We have another Snap Squad figure. That one I've had for a while. That's another Spinosaurus. Pachycephalosaurus from Jurassic Park. I think it's 2 or 3. And that is sitting in the T-Rex Jurassic World cup that I had in Live Night. Jurassic World Alive statue figure from Jurassic World, not Alive, Jurassic World Live Tour. Indoraptor number 2 on the other side. Hubcap, Jurassic World Dominion book, and the Jurassic World Rebirth movie. And then that's all my props. Here are the other 2 Jurassic World movies that I have as well. Jurassic World and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. So those are all the props that I have for today. And now let's get into the episode and have a roarsome time while doing it. All right, so to start off this next part, this segment I'm going to be talking about a lot about dinosaurs and the history I have with dinosaurs. I've been interested and loved dinosaurs ever since I was a kid. I remember watching Dinosaur Train growing up. I watched, I had a lot of the Land Before Our Time movies on VHS, and I loved watching those growing up. I also had what other dinosaur shows that I watched growing up? There was Dino Squad. Oh my God, that was such a great show, Dino Squad. It only had like 1 or 2 seasons. No, 1 season, because I have it all on DVD. But it was on PBS, and it was obviously every episode would have a lesson that one of the characters would learn, which was also teach the viewer who was also a kid or a young adult, a young child. There was a whole bunch of other shows that I watched growing up as a kid. Can't remember them off the top of my head, but I'm sure there was plenty other dinosaur shows that I watched growing up. And now, the next bit is my favorite dinosaur movies. One of them is Disney's Dinosaur. Is one of my favorite movies. Of course, the Jurassic franchise, also a favorite. The Jurassic franchise is a favorite of mine. I watched Jurassic Park. Can't remember when I saw Jurassic Park the first time, but I know it definitely was in the theater. I'm not that old. I've watched all of the Jurassic franchise, forward and backwards, especially ever since I had the Jurassic Park trilogy DVD. I've watched the first one, the second one, the third one, then I went the third one, the second one, the first one, then I've done the second one, the first one, the third one. I've watched it all sorts of orders. And same goes for Jurassic World and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom when those came out. Those are really great too. Disney's Dinosaur I watched a lot growing up as a kid. It was really good. I still believe that Disney's Dinosaur is the best dinosaur movie to have with their CG animated things, even though it came out in 2000, 2001, 2002, one of those 3 years, and for its time, it was I would say it was extremely amazing, best one to ever have. And how they did it, it was amazing, and they watched. And the fact that they went down to detail with their animation, they went down, going down to muscle movement. The muscle movement of these creatures. Granted, of the time, that's a scientifically accurate of what they had during the early 2000s, but going to the point of animating muscle movements when they would move their neck, their muscles would shake on their neck because they were a little bit bulkier. That was so cool. I still think that's so cool. And what sucks is that no other dinosaur movie or show or anything that I have seen, none of them do that level of detail when it comes to the animation. I've never seen that ever since. And as a dinosaur nerd, I'm so frustrated with that. But, I can't make those decisions. I can't make that happen. Even you would probably need some really experienced animators to pull that off. And what other dinosaurs movies did I watch? I watched the BBC's movie Walking with Dinosaurs Allosaurus Special with Big Al. And I've watched now, what was the first dinosaur movie that I saw? The first dinosaur movie that I remember watching was probably Land Before Time. That or definitely Land Before Time was probably one of the first dinosaur movies that I remember watching. And Land Before Time is a really great movie series. I really, it's a great series to grow up on. I definitely am glad that I was able to watch as much of it as I was. It is harder to find now, and I wish, granted, you can find the 14 movie collection in Walmart. I've seen it, and though it's expensive to get. So you're kind of stuck in is spending $20, $30 or more for a 14 movie collection of movies that would be nostalgic for you really worth that kind of money? Especially with other life things that I have going on, such as college and finishing up with that and having to eventually pay for rent or whatnot. But yeah, so this is the end of the segment and we'll move on to that. So I'll be back in a moment. All right, so dinosaur movies and films from history. So the first time anyone saw a dinosaur in a movie was in 1905 to 1915, which was Prehistoric Peeps in 1905, and then Gertie the Dinosaur in 1914, and then Brute Force in 1914. The milestones of the dinosaur films was in The Lost World in 1925 and King Kong in 1933, which were also the pioneers in stop-motion animation, which you guys know how much I love that. And that is the first time we get to see stop-motion animation with clay figures. And that was in scenes of The Lost World from whatever the year was for that. And the early films early films listed established dinosaurs as popular cinematic subjects, allowing them to evolve from simply novelty to complex special effects spectacles over the following decades, as seen in films like 1914's 1 Billion BC. Now that we know when the first dinosaurs were seen in media, let's talk about the Jurassic franchise itself and go a little deeper into that series. All right, so moving on to the Jurassic Park / World franchise and other dinosaur movies. So, first off, the Jurassic Park trilogy. And those movies ran were directed by Steven Spielberg, and they used a lot of practical effects rather than special effects. But in the first movie of Jurassic Park, you could tell what was special effects and what was practical effects. So, for example, say you see like the raptor foot when one of the raptors in the kitchen scene put its foot down and do the classic tapping scene that you see, which Tremors actually copied or whatever replicated with one of their Tremors movies. But anyways, that foot would have been a practical physical effect that they were using. But as soon as you saw something that was an entire body of a dinosaur, say the full-scale view of the T-Rex when it killed the Gallimimus, or a full shot of one of the raptors, that would have been special effects. And CGI that they were using with that. And the Jurassic Park was, for those who don't know, Jurassic Park was about this guy named Hammond who said, "Hey, I want to make a park. Let's fill it with dinosaurs. We have the technology to clone dinosaurs and bring them back, so let's make a park out of it off the coast of Costa Rica." So they did that, and they had this group of 5 people to check on their park to make sure that everything is safe, everything's good to go. And so that was when that weekend everything went downhill. Not only did the dinosaurs break out, but also one of the employees who only was like, "I want to make money and I don't like working for these people and I don't feel appreciated," which was Dennis Nedry. He sat there and was like, "Well, I'm gonna take some of the embryos, I'm gonna shut down some of their technology, and I'm gonna put a virus into the system, and I'm gonna screw over the entire thing," which then ironically, he didn't end up getting what he wanted because he ended up dying from a Dilophosaurus. So there was that, and then all the main cast escapes. They're perfectly fine. The kids probably a little traumatized, but otherwise, everything worked out great. Second movie, Ian Malcolm comes back, just Ian Malcolm, not Dr. Grant, and Ian Malcolm goes through this whole thing where Hammond calls him in to have him go check out Site B. Site B has all these dinosaurs and cool beans, awesome, amazing things with that. And they go, and then there's this other group who wants to poach the dinosaurs and then use them for a park on the mainland in California. Which is a terrible idea, but they were like, "No, let's make money." People end up getting killed by the raptors, and they find out, "Oh, this is not a good idea." And the team that was working for Hammond sabotaged them to make sure that they couldn't use these dinosaurs and bring them back to the mainland. And in the end of the movie, oh, guess what? They ended up bringing the Rex. And the Rex wreaks havoc because they shot it with a whole bunch of morphine and sleeping medication to make it sleep. And when it woke up, it was like, "Oh, okay, I'm really hungry. I want water. I'm gonna go on a rampage." So it went on a rampage. It wandered through the city. People freaked out. And the baby of that Rex was, also put elsewhere. And they had to use the baby Rex to bring the adult Rex back to the ship so they can bring it back to Site B. And that was the end of that movie. Then Jurassic Park 3, we have Dr. Grant. Dr. Grant goes to the Site B island as well, which is Isla Sorna. And he's wrapped into all this, even though he didn't want to, because the Kirbys are like, "Hey, our son is missing there, and we'd like you to help us find him because you've been to the island before." And there's this whole funny bit where Grant is like, "No, I've never been on this island. I've been to Isla Nublar. That's a whole different island than this one." And that's when the glorious Spinosaurus was introduced in Jurassic Park 3. and that was the big bad of that entire film. And apparently there's one rumor that the Spinosaurus chased it the entire time, only because of the fact that its spine got clipped by the plane when they tried to leave, and it was apparently mad at them for it. But also there was another dinosaur that was mad at the group because frickin' Billy, the photographer guy, decided, oh hey, let's take this dinosaur egg back so we can use the DNA from that egg to make a whole bunch of money to help our foundation and our foundation for the dig site for a couple more years or so. So that's when and he ends up getting caught by the pterodons, and the egg gets returned to the raptors, and the raptors leave him alone, and they get to they end up getting to leave the island after all sorts of dinosaur confrontations between Spinosaurus and Velociraptor. And that's a very quick gist of the Jurassic Park trilogy. Moving on to Jurassic World. So, Jurassic World goes back to Isla Nublar. There's a new park, but they introduced this wonderful thing called hybrids, which this dinosaur here in the egg is the dinosaur in question. They decide, oh hey, people aren't interested in a regular dinosaur anymore. They want something bigger, scarier, with more teeth. So hey, let's make a hybrid. So they make this hybrid, the Indominus Rex, and raise it in captivity, which they think this is fine. Meanwhile, Owen Grady, who's shown this, is just like, the only thing that it is friendly with is the crane that feeds it, and it killed its sibling for whatever the reason, and once it escapes, it goes on this dinosaur escapes, dinosaur goes on rampage, kills other dinosaurs. Turns out this one decides to kill other dinosaurs for sports, and then they end up having to use their 4 raptors, which introduces Blue and the other 3, and they end up having to go through this whole entire thing where they use the raptors to track down the Indominus, and the Indominus turns out, oh hey, it's part raptor, so it can communicate with the raptors. Oh, well now they're on the Indominus side. End of the movie. Owen being Chris Pratt that he is, he ends up getting the raptors end up going back on their side, and they fight the Indominus. The Indominus is only killed by the massive Mosasaurus that was in the lagoon, which is seen on the back of here, on the back of the case, which is technically a custom-made case, but it's perfectly fine. So, yeah, and that was Jurassic World. So, in movie timeline, about maybe 2 years later, after the events of that movie, we have Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, the dinosaurs are running free on the island, perfectly fine, and there's this whole debate on if the dinosaurs should be saved or not, or if they should just because the volcano on that island is going to erupt. So Claire wants to save the dinosaurs because she has I think they called it the DPD or something like that. No, DPG, Dinosaur Protection Group. They even have these paleo veterinarian and stuff like that, because now we have dinosaurs that, apparently will need vets eventually or something like that. So there's that. And then so Claire convinces Owen to go back to the island and to help get these certain find Blue, because they want Blue's DNA, because Blue's DNA will help with a project that freaking what's-his-face Woo is doing. And of course, guess what? It's another hybrid that is based off the original hybrid, which is Indoraptor, which you see on one and the other side too. He's also on over here as well. And the Indoraptor is meant to be a bio-living war machine, which was Hawkins' idea in the other movie, which he was working with Wu on that, and I guess he continued that. And they need Blue's DNA because they could use that DNA for the next iteration of Indoraptor to make it so that way it listens to commands and it understands emotion and stuff like that. But Indoraptor ends up escaping, and they also introduced a human clone of Maisie, And Maisie is the clone of her mother, which is the granddaughter, or the daughter of Lockwood, of the Lockwood Manor, who worked with Hammond, and we don't realize until the next movie that it wasn't Lockwood that made the clone, it was the research of Lockwood's daughter herself who managed to make the clone of herself. Because she was studying in the third movie, they looked at one of her things, and I guess she was studying asexual reproduction and using the same technology that they do for the dinosaurs. So she managed to make a biological baby of just herself that is a parthenogenetic clone of herself. So there's that, and there's a lot more to these movies than what I'm explaining, but to give a gist, that's that. Then we have Dominion, Jurassic World Dominion. All the dinosaurs in the previous movie of Fallen Kingdom, they all escape to the mainland because Maisie lets them out because they are dying from this toxic smoke from when a container was damaged. And in Jurassic World Dominion, we have dinosaurs in the wild. This is set again a few years after the events of the previous one. So they go on this whole thing, and we get the original cast of the Jurassic franchise, which is amazing. And Jurassic World Dominion was supposed to be the end of the franchise, but of course, Universal being Universal, they made Rebirth, but that I'll get to in a second. Then they end up going to Malta. They end up going to, where else they end up going? Wherever Biosyn facility is, and they end up having to go there, and they end up meeting up. They get Maisie back because Maisie's captured, and they end up using the DNA from Blue or Maisie or whatever to be able to correct the mistake that Wu did, because Wu was finally like, I've made a lot of mistakes that I should not have done. So there's that. And so I want to fix my mistake by making it so these locusts, these Cretaceous locusts that are eating everything and killing all plants and stuff, can just be killed or at least taken care of, so that way they can exist in our world with us. What was the other thing? What else in that movie did they do? The Jurassic Park gang, trilogy gang of Ian Malcolm, Ellie Sattler, and Dr. Grant, they had their own objective. Meanwhile, Claire and Owen had their objective of getting Maisie back. And in the end, they end up meeting this, and that's where meeting in the middle at the Biosyn facility, because they end up going to the same location. And that's when they introduce the Giganotosaurus there, and the Therizinosaurus as well. And there's that. Then, what else? And then, yeah, there's a lot more to that movie again. And the only reason I don't have Jurassic World Dominion on DVD is because I have been stubborn, because I've been really wanting to get the extended edition version of Jurassic World Dominion, because personally, I like the extended edition variant of the movie better than the theatrical edition, because there's a scene that makes more sense because of a previous scene that was cut out of the theatrical cut. So, yeah, but And the scene is when Owen talked about there was these parasaurs that were a parasaur herd that they were wrangling, and this guy shows up to try and take the parasaur, and Owen stops him. He gets the parasaur back to the herd, and they get that pulled off. And this same guy ends up showing up, and he's the guy who takes Maisie. So there's that. And yeah, I think that's all I'm gonna cover with that. So now I'm gonna move on to the last movie, which is more recent, of Jurassic World Rebirth. Jurassic World Rebirth is supposed to be kind of like a soft reboot, kind of set in the continuity movie. And Jurassic World Rebirth is a movie that they ended up having that movie. So they have this whole thing where they go the medical route with that movie. So by going to an island, they have a new island name that apparently has mutants on it. A dinosaur. They have 3 dinosaurs that they want to get DNA from. They want Mosasaurus, they want Quetzalcoatlus, and they want Titanosaurus. That was it, Titanosaurus. And they wanted, and with those 3, they could make a medicine that could cure, I think it was cancer? It was either cancer or some other very non-curable disease that we have, that we have in real life. And with those dinosaurs, they could solve that disease. I think it had something to do with a heart, with a heart disease of some kind. I don't know, because I remember them talking about the Mosasaurus has a giant heart, and they were gonna have that DNA to help with that or something. Maybe it was heart disease. I don't know. I haven't watched Rebirth in a minute, so I watched it in the theater though. That was really cool to see Jurassic World Rebirth in the theater. That was awesome. Distortus Rex is a giant mutant of T-Rex that was still living for apparently 50 years, and supposedly you're supposed to feel bad for it in the movie because apparently it's in pain all the time because of how distorted it is. And then the other mutant was called the Mutodon. Yes, that's a very, they didn't put too much thought in that. Mutodon, combination of pterodon and velociraptor. So, and it can fly. It has like, it can go like this, and it can sprout wings, and it can fly. So, yeah. And then from there, they all escaped. The guy who wanted to do the pharmaceutical stuff for the money, he ended up dying from the Distortus Rex. And they get the DNA, and at the end of the movie, oh, let's make it for everybody rather than for the rich. And that was that. And I wish that was a logic that they used for more things in real life, but they don't. Moving on, finally, to Jurassic World Evolution game. Also the, and I'm gonna try and wrap this up a little bit better because I'm probably going over my time here with this segment. Jurassic World Evolution is a game, a park builder game, where you can build your own park. You have oh geez, was it 5 or 6 islands? In the second movie of Jurassic Park, they talk about there's the 5 deaths, 5 islands. There are 5 islands. You have Isla Muerta, you have Isla Tecano, you have Isla Sorna, you have Isla Metanceros, and you have Isla Pena. I think that's 5. Yes. And then of course you have Isla Nublar. And on those 6 islands, you have different parks that you can build. Isla Nublar, obviously they made that to be the sandbox island that you can build whatever you want with unlimited money. And then the others, you would have to actually run a park. You are physically running a park with having to worry about guests. You have to worry about if the guests are happy, if they're sad, how much money you're making sure you don't go into debt, making sure the dinosaurs don't escape, making sure that the dinosaurs are happy, all that stuff. Fun game, a little bit stressful. I have Jurassic World 1, and there's 2 and 3 out. I don't have either of those. And what else we got? Oh, there is a game coming out, Jurassic Park Survival. It is still in the works. Last we heard that it is still in early stages of production and still in the early stages of the works. It's kind of up in the air. We don't really know what's going on with it. So there's that. And my favorite dinosaurs of the Jurassic Park franchise, I would probably have to say Indoraptor, Blue, and I think those are my main 2. And probably I'd probably also say the Pyroraptor was really cool too. I liked Pyroraptor a lot. So there's that. And last but not least, I think for this segment, other dinosaur movies that are really good. Disney's Dinosaur was really great, as I've already talked about that, why I think it's really great. It's a really great story. They had really amazing music. The animation is top tier in my opinion. I really wish they would do more of that level of animation in dinosaur movies and dinosaur documentaries and stuff, but they don't, unfortunately. Allosaurus, A Walking with Dinosaurs special, I have that on DVD. It talks about Big Al. That was huge for me growing up. I watched that movie forward and backwards and left and right and all in any which way. And then, yeah, I think I'm gonna go with that. Finally, with this segment is done, we can move on to segment 5 and cut. All right, so for the second to last segment of this season finale episode, that is probably going to end up really long, and I apologize for this, but dinosaurs is one of my big topics of interest. Anyways, it is time to talk about dinosaur discovery news. So, in dinosaur discoveries that happened within the past week before the January 18th to the 23rd. So, a new study on a new analysis of the growth rings in 17 T-Rex specimens, published in mid-January with ongoing reporting as of January 18th to 20th, suggests it took roughly 40 years for the T-Rex to reach its full 8-ton size. About 15 years longer than earlier estimates of the 25 years. On January 19th, 2026, researchers published findings on a 250 million year old mammal ancestor, and the study used digital modeling of its skull to show that sensitive hearing evolved much earlier than previously understood. On January 20th, 2026, construction on a parking lot at the Utah-Colorado border site revealed new fossils marking the first discovery there in 100 years. The bones discovered in September, but reported on a lot in January, likely belonged to a diplodocus and were found near the famous Wall of Bones. Roughly 3,000 pounds of fossil-bearing rock was removed from the construction site near the quarry exhibit hall. Now, time to talk about more recent dinosaur discoveries of this semester specifically, spanning from January 26th to May 4th, being today. In late February 2026, a new giant emerged from the Sahara Desert, Spinosaurus mirabilis, a predator scientists are calling the hell heron, while its famous relatives were built for deep water. Researchers in Niger discovered that this species was a shallow water stalker, standing at about the size of a T-Rex. It featured a scimitar-shaped crest on its head and massive claws designed to hunt in ancient swamps. This discovery proves the Spinosaurus family was far more diverse and deadlier than we ever imagined. It's a 200 million year old carnivore with huge cheekbones and a deep snout. Because of its strange, slightly goofy facial structure, the paleo artist nicknamed it the Murder Muppet. It belongs to the Herrerasauria group, one of the earliest predatory lineages. On April 15th, 2026, a student at Virginia Tech School CT scanned to reconstruct the mangled skull that has been sitting in the drawers for years. This dinosaur was called Tychotherites buccolentus. Probably butchered the name, but that's fine. These tracks are incredibly well preserved and show a high concentration of pterosaurs living and walking around prehistoric shoreline. giving us a snapshot of their daily behavior. The discovery was announced in May 1st, 2026, and it was footprints of a Neo-Asdarchian pterosaur called Gingiucus procurus. While not technically a dinosaur, they are flying reptiles. 106 million-year-old footprints were found in South Korea and gave us a better glimpse into how these giant pterosaurs hunted on land. And that is your dinosaur discovery news for this season of Reality Glitch. Moving on to the next segment, and cut. All right, so we're finally at the end of this finale. Let's review what I've talked about. I've done a lot of nerding out of dinosaurs. That was the whole intention of this episode. So, I talked about dinosaurs and me, the dinosaurs in film, and the Jurassic franchise, and other dinosaur-related movies and shows. I talked about recent dinosaur discoveries and of before the semester and during the semester, and that was all that I covered. I did a lot of rambling on dinosaurs, which was really great, and this was a really fun episode for me to talk about, as always, because this is my number one hyperfixation of topics, and I am very well knowledged in this stuff. The names, some of the names are a little bit hard to say, but you know what? It's fine. Then this was such a great time to talk about. I could go on and on and on about dinosaurs, as you guys can see, and I have a good base, a really high level of knowledge in this of dinosaurs. So yeah, but this whole experience of doing my show has been really great. It's been a roller coaster ride, and there was a massive, huge learning curve. I know Gigi and Michael know that very well, and I'm so glad that I was able to get my last 2 episodes to be really good and pan out really, really well. And I want to thank the EPs for being patient with me and working with me. I want to thank the crew for doing such a great job. You guys did amazing, and I really appreciate you guys. I look forward. I hope the next crew is as good as you guys, as good as you guys were, because you guys did an amazing job. Carter, you were great as director. I love you. You do a really good job with this. I really do mean that. And everybody else who was in a position and getting things right. Our camera people, Andy Duran, who's not here. He was here. If he was here, I would still say, he did a really good job at getting shots and getting good camera angles. And I want to thank Zito for working with me too, and also being part of technically my show for a couple times. And I'm glad that I'm glad that we got to make this work. And I think the last people I want to thank is Grant Hockmuth, Will Quilla, Ian, all you guys, Grant, and I'm really glad I got to work with Grant. Grant is such an amazing guy. I really am gonna miss having him around. I hope he's off to Texas. He got a job out there, which is amazing, good for him, and he deserves only the best. He's got a good setup going for him. He's got a good plan going for him pretty well. And Will, I heard he's gonna be hanging around for at Plattsburgh in general, but I also heard that he's graduating either next semester or this semester. So, it was great working with you. I always had a blast hanging out with you guys. And fellow managers, thank you for working with me. I really did enjoy working with you guys. It was amazing. It was awesome. And just to everybody, I really appreciate the support that I've had in this. This journey was really great, and I look forward to doing a season 2 of this show, and I look forward, and it's going to be a good time. It'll be best case scenario, it pans out better than, it's not so rough as it was this time around. So thank you for watching this episode of Reality Glitch and the show itself. I hope you enjoyed this episode and the other episodes as much as I did doing them, and this episode specifically. I hope you enjoyed watching and hearing me ramble about dinosaurs. Maybe you learned some new things, maybe you didn't, and maybe yeah, so thank you. So thank you for watching. Thank everybody, crew and everybody, even though I went through this again, thanks. And I'm glad to have been able to work with all of you, and I look forward to doing this again next semester. So peace until all are one. All right.
Hey Bruce, you finished your show?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I wanted to talk to you, if you have a moment. I like the idea of this new show, of continuing this show that you're doing, but I really think you should change the name.
Okay. Like what?
Well, I'm thinking, and stay with me on this one, I'm thinking maybe hyperfixation. Just because, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Hyperfixations. I deep dive more times than not into topics. Yeah, you know what? I like that. I think I can work with that.